Hello, and welcome to the Kosh Podcast. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and this week, I think we're going to have a very special episode. Like, I'm super excited about this episode, and a lot of that has to do with who our guest is. So, our guest this week is Christine Koehler. Christine, how you doing over there?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Christine, can you please share a little something about yourself and what is your connection to the Kosh?
You bet, but you can call me Chrissy because that's how you've always known me.
The facts. I'm not going to lie. Let me, bruh. We going to call you Chrissy.
Your family. So my connection to the Kosh started in 93. And I came up here as a sophomore and transferred to UW Oshkosh. And then got my bachelor's, and then I got my first teaching job. And that was at South Park Middle School. And then in 2005, I got my master's from UW Oshkosh. And then, been here ever since, 23rd year of teaching.
23 years as an educator. You going hard.
I am. I'm a lifer.
And you've been in middle school this whole time.
The whole time.
Bruh. Now, I done heard something about being a middle school teacher. I know that ain't easy. That's hard stuff. I
couldn't see myself doing anything else, really.
I'm feeling
I've moved around the grade levels a little bit.
Yeah.
6th, 7th, and 8th. But other than that, and I've taught some high school in the summer at UW.
Okay.
With the pre-college program.
Right.
So I've dabbled with that a little bit. But, man, I love them. I love them so much.
Love the kids.
Love them kids.
I love the kids.
I love the kids. All
right. So, do you mind telling us a little bit more about yourself? Is there anything else you'd like to share at this time?
Man, what's to say? I am a wife and a mother of 2 amazing daughters who are now 8 and 10.
Woo! That sounds like you right on the verge of fire. I'm not going to lie. 8 and 10, that's creeping right there. 8 and 10 sounds like 12 and 14 in a hot second.
It's happening.
Is it happening?
But I had friends, not unlike yourself, that kind of warned me of how fast it goes. Oh. And I tried to stay present, every step of the way, just because I never want to, I just never want to miss. I want to take full advantage of every phase that they're at.
Yes.
And be like, okay, check that. Let's move on to the next phase, and not wish to go back so much because we're enjoying the phase we're in. Does that make sense?
No, that makes so much sense. And let me tell you something. As somebody whose daughter is an adulting, I am so grateful for being, I also had people telling me to be present, and I'm glad that I was there for all the good moments and the challenging moments, but the moments that make that relationship with your children.
Man.
That stuff's real.
It is transformative. It is transformative.
Children show you who you really are. You know what I mean?
And who you want to be.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And who you want to be, because I think, when I witness myself reacting a certain way or dropping the ball or reflecting on something and wish I would have said something differently or reacted, and not necessarily a negative thing, but just a different way. It just sets me on the course ahead. Okay, the next time this is what we're going to do. I'm so reflective, and sometimes that's a downfall. Some people might tell you that.
No, reflection. Look, I know that you can overanalyze, but the only thing overanalyzing does to me is it puts you in a situation where it might make you stall. But if you ain't stalling, being reflective, I don't see where that's a negative.
At least you're not going backwards.
Right. And at least you're trying to move forward.
Right.
Thoughtfully.
Right.
There's something to that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm feeling that. Okay. So, you ready to jump into this first segment?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm excited about this. What in the world is going on with? You start off your phrase with that, and you finish with whatever's on your mind.
The first half of that phrase is very specific to something that went through my mind back in January. And what in the world am I witnessing was exactly what I thought when I was listening to Amanda Gorman for the first time.
Bruh. Amanda Gorman, yes.
Amanda Gorman.
Just for those out there who might not know who Amanda Gorman is, who's Amanda Gorman?
She is the beautiful young lady who read her poem, The Hill We Climb, at the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And she is the youngest poet laureate. And she also performed for, maybe some people will recognize her from the Super Bowl. What in the world are we talking about? Like, she read poetry at the Super Bowl?
I know, right? Like, you bad.
Oh, my gosh.
You on some stuff if you read poetry at the Super Bowl. Yes. I mean, that's not even...
together.
Yeah, that don't even mix, but yet it fit.
It's so fit.
It fit perfectly.
It fits so well. Yeah. She is somebody who... I became a super fan immediately, and I'm waiting for her poster for my classroom. I've pre-ordered her book. She's got a book coming out in September.
What? There's posters.
There's posters. There's canvas. There's T-shirts. There's a lot of When I started to look, I just wanted to know more about her.
Right.
So I started to look her up, and yeah, of course you get hit with the ads then.
Oh,
so that's how I found those.
Yes, Google thinks for you, and then Google will put out their things for you to buy.
Yes, thank you, Miss Google.
you got Google eyes.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I watched her in real time during the inauguration, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know it. Sometimes when you're witnessing something great, I don't even know a better way to put it, and let's just keep it simple. Something's so great, you're just caught, you're stuck in that, and you're just sitting there wide-eyed and jaw open.
Yep.
And that's how I felt, because I was like, she killed that.
Yeah, she spoke for so... I mean, it was healing. It was uplifting. It was hope-filled. I just, my vision went to Maya when she was reading poetry for Obama.
Right.
And then I see this young girl. I just had flashbacks. And then I thought, what am I witnessing right now? Like, she just gave... I had stood there with goosebumps and a little bit of a lump in my throat, because I just knew... You just intuitively knew you're witnessing something great. And yes. I cannot wait to follow her. And was she like 22 years old?
I know she's young. I'm 22, 23. Yeah. I think she was under 24.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me tell you something about the other thing I noticed on Inauguration Day. Michelle Obama's outfit. Because she was fly. I don't care what nobody
As
say.
Usual. As usual.
She brought it. All right, that's just...
She always brings it.
That's just my secret crush on Michelle Obama. Wifey, don't be mad, but
Who could be mad?
They can't be mad. Right?
I mean, really. Side note, I'm gonna do a little bit of bragging. I had a dear friend of mine who I was teaching her daughter at the time.
Okay.
Gift me with tickets to join them to see Michelle Obama in Milwaukee.
Oh, man.
Talk about a bucket list item you didn't even have on there.
Right.
Man.
How was it?
Stunning.
Yeah.
In so many ways. You're just sitting there like, am I really here?
Right.
And I can remember giggling and crying at the same time. I can remember my jaw dropping when she's just so down to earth, talking about marriage. And I mean, just certain segments just stand out to me.
Right.
There's not a perfect human being on the earth.
No.
But there are some people who are imperfectly perfect.
I like that. Imperfectly.
Or perfectly imperfect.
Perfect.
Either way you want to say it. Yeah. I just love it.
All right. I'm feeling that. All right. So I'm going to give you my what in the world is going on with, let me just keep it 100 with y'all out here in the Kosh. What in the world is going on with Ron Johnson making these poor clerks read for 11 hours this bill. You know, let me tell you something. Look, I don't have a problem with needing to know what was inside of a bill, but I do have a problem with torturing these poor clerks with the responsibility of doing it when you didn't have to do it, and you probably didn't even stay until the end of it. So I'm going to tell you right now, if I was a clerk, I'd have probably found him out in an alley, and we would have had to have some words because to take up 11 hours of my time for what will equivalate out to, and this ain't about no right or left stuff. But this here was a political stunt that was harmful to some poor clerks who just wanted to go home to their family, probably see their kids, their partners, whatever the situation is. That there shows me character of an individual. Boom. And that I have problem with.
Boom. I think you nailed it. I think there's just been so much senselessness that has occurred, and it's still unraveling.
Right.
You know, we're just in the wake of it, and people are still misbehaving and doing things that are just senseless, that are just, they're not grounded in anything purposeful.
That's where I have a problem.
Yeah.
I have a problem when you're just doing things to be obstructionist or out of spite, but you're not doing it for the greater good of what you're supposed to do as a government official. Government is for the people, and at the point that you ain't trying to take care of the people, then why are you in government?
And what is the purpose? 11 hours later, what changes?
Bruh. Nothing.
So you showed
changed.
Yourself. Yep. So
Nothing
all he did was show
changed.
himself.
Yeah.
So
nothing changed except for, I'll tell you what changed. Those poor clerks were exhausted and beat down and missed important, invaluable time with whoever they wanted to spend it with, other than being on that floor reading those 626 pages.
I'm wordless. I'm speechless.
I can't. Hey, look, I'm just saying. All right.
There's so much I can't even speak to anymore. And I'm on a podcast, and there's so much that I actually refuse to speak to at this point. It's almost involuntary at this point.
Right.
Because I have been face to face and witnessed just too much ignorance, too much senselessness, and too much game playing when it comes to other people's lives.
Right.
That I can't even, you just, like you said, that so many people, this whole pandemic and in the wake of the last administration, I think on both sides have exposed so much character in people, or the character in so many people.
I think I'm going to go bigger. I think it exposed some character of America.
For sure.
Because we really think we're on a pedestal. Like we're Americans. We run the things. Everybody should look to us for how it's done. And then, yeah, we've
been exposed.
We've been exposed.
For sure.
And here's my thing. I'm all for rights. Like, I like rights. I don't want nobody taking away no rights, right? But wearing a mask for the greater good of our society, for the greater good of society, your fellow citizens, is such a low bar ask. I mean, it's such a low bar ask. Seriously, think think about all the other generations before now who truly had to give up something. People who had to get drafted and go to war, or people that had to give up things because they needed to produce things while we were in wars. You know, those other great generations before this generation. And our time to truly serve our nation, to stand up and do the thing where, you know, it's not what your country can do for you, but it's what you can do for your country. Mm-hmm. We can't even wear masks
to save the lives of our own countrymen.
That's bonkers. And this ain't about, look, I like to stress, this ain't about no politics. This is about humanity. Absolutely.
It's also about common sense. I wonder if any of the non-mask wearers, I'm just going to put it out there, if they went into when they go into urgent care and they say, please put a mask on and sit over there, I bet they didn't say no any time throughout their life. I mean, if it's a possibility, you do it.
Here's my thing. I like to say, I don't like wearing a mask more than anyone else, but I don't mind it. I've watched our young people do an amazing job stepping up to that responsibility and just do it. Like, they don't even second guess it. They're just like, look, I'm thinking about y'all. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. The young people pity us old people, and so they be putting on that mask thinking about us. So I applaud our young people because they put on that mask because they ain't putting it on for them. They putting it on for their parents, them aunts, them uncles, them grandparents, and stuff like that. But why can't the aunts, uncles, and grandparents be as responsible as our youth?
That's a great question. You hit that cricket button.
Wait. I had you, right?
Because there's not a good answer. I've been caught in this trap too. Why am I looking for a good answer when there's not one?
Right.
Look. I think it's there's people that look outside of themselves regularly. Mm-hmm. People who trust science regularly. Mm-hmm. Who listen to experts regularly. Experts, factual, educated experts. None of us have been through a pandemic before.
Yeah.
But I will back you up 100% when you say you give props to these young people because, man, the resilience that they've shown in this last year, almost exactly a year.
Amazing.
Nobody knows what that's like. We don't know what that's like.
Nah, we ain't got no clue. We ain't never had to do that. And they did, and they're doing it still. Yeah. They're still in it. So, I mean, that's just amazing.
Mask wearing is the least of it.
Right.
For them.
Right.
I'd be like, right. I put a mask on.
We got people... Man, look, now we on masks, and I don't know how I might have to. We might have to have an episode on masks. Look, I'm just saying because I'm thinking about it now, and now you're right. That's like the least of it. They have lost graduations. They have lost their friends during a crucial developmental time in their lives. They lost their sports. They've lost everything. And we got a bunch of grown folks whining about wearing a cloth over their face to save their fellow citizens. I feel some kind of way about it. And look, y'all know if y'all would like to, if y'all got something to say about it, I am reachable at askthekosh@gmail.com. Look, I'm not just out here spouting. If you want to, you got an opinion, we are here to field it. All right. You ready to move on to word association?
Sure.
Okay. Word association. First word, food.
I'm feeling wings from the bar. Listen, I've been eating those since they were a dime a piece.
Oh. Look, I remember when wings were
15-cent wings. What were they, dime or 15 cents back in the day?
Back in the day, look, they was around there, but you could get a lot of wings for very little money, and they were happy. Those were happy wings.
Those were happy wings, and I was a happy girl.
You know, you can get cheap wings and get 10-cent taps. So then you could you get wings and beer with $5. $5 you get wings and beer.
Yep.
Oh.
I've yet to taste a wing better than the bars. It's just my own taste buds. Maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know, but when my children look at me and say, "Can we have wings tonight?" I'm a happy mom all of a sudden.
You said, hey, can we give a shout out to the bar? Shout out to the bar.
Shout out.
All right. Cocktail or beer? Or
either or?
Well, no, you can take it in whatever direction you want to. Yeah.
I'm not a beer drinker per se. I know I'm from Wisconsin. So I'm more of a cocktail person, but the pandemic drink of choice has been mimosas.
Ooh.
Pineapple mimosas. Come on.
The mimosas, I'm not going to lie, there's nothing better than waking up a Sunday morning to a wonderfully made mimosa.
Yep. I think it started on Mother's Day. And then we just had a good Christmas vacation, and we had like 11 o'clock brunch a couple times.
Wait, let me just for those out there keeping track, we jumped from Mother's Day to Christmas vacation. There's a lot of mimosas in between there.
Well, you know what? All in moderation, but I enjoyed Mother's Day and I really enjoyed Christmas vacation. Now we had summertime in there, so then we moved to something else. We moved to like popsicles and things.
Fair enough.
From Costco.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, but yeah, they make me happy.
Hey, I'm with you. Everybody should be, look, this is Wisconsin. Everybody is allowed to have a cocktail or beer of choice that makes them happy.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's part of the
It's
culture.
the little things.
Yeah, it is the little things.
Yeah.
Okay. Netflix.
Well, I've got two thoughts on that. Number one, I'm on my second watching of Bridgerton.
The second?
I'm watching it again.
Why? What made you go back?
That's a good question. At the end of the day, when my kids are in bed, I need to so the other thing I was going to say, the other thing I'm starting to watch is Amend, that hosted by Will Smith. Okay. Based on the 14th Amendment. But sometimes it's a little cerebral at the end of the day when I just need to really veg out. Right. And I don't want to get all jacked up before I go to sleep. So I find myself putting it on and then saying, okay, that's enough for tonight. Right. And then I need just something that I can just escape.
No, I get that. Look, it all can't be, like, sometimes you just need pure entertainment.
For sure. Mindless sometimes, yeah.
Mindless sometimes. Like, I had this conversation with my mom. I was having this conversation, and she said, I'm trying to find a movie. This is Black History Month, so this was just a couple weeks ago. And she's like, I'm trying to find a movie that has all Black actors but doesn't have a bunch of trauma.
Drama or trauma?
Trauma.
T.
I'm
hearing you. Okay.
And it gave me pause because they don't make that often. So you know what my mom ended up watching? She ended up watching a Lifetime movie with all Black actors. And even though there was some serial killing going on, that was not trauma because that was just the normal for Lifetime. So she was good with that.
Fair enough.
Right. But I can't say I've never thought of it because there's times I don't. Black History Month for a Black person can be, that's tough on the soul sometimes. There's a lot of things that come into your orbit and there's a lot of requests made. And not all of it is mentally or soulfully healthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's a lot of some of it, a lot of it is asking you to have conversations about things that take you places that aren't great places.
Right. Are you meaning in order to educate white people? specifically?
I live in the Kosh, so
That's,
just
sorry, stupid question.
no,
Sorry.
that's not. There is no stupid questions, but I'm just saying that is my audience.
Yeah.
It's just it just happens
yeah.
to be who is the majority population
Yep.
here.
Yep. I spent a lot of I spent every morning. So one of my things when the pandemic hit was walking in the morning.
Okay.
First time I ever started listening to podcasts regularly.
Okay.
First time I started listening to Audible books.
Ooh.
And and then after Memorial Day weekend, previous to that, after the death of George Floyd, of course, everyone in the country is talking about what happened, and and then the authors started to be interviewed, and Ibram X. Kendi, and How to Be an Anti-Racist, and Stamped. Jason Reynolds, the amazing young adult author, kind of rewrote Ibram's book, Stamped from the Beginning, which is the history of racism in the world.
Right.
And then Jason Reynolds was requested to write the young adult version of this. Listening to that, listening to different podcasts of women, that same topic kept coming up about not just during February Black History Month, but anytime this is raised, of just the responsibility being on Black people to teach white America anything that we want to know, when we want to know it, to understand it. And a lot of that not being the responsibility of Black people, but of us to educate ourselves. Oh, this is going to wrap into the whole education system, but
we can come back if you want to. We can circle back around.
All right, we can circle back around.
You want to circle back
I'm
around?
about to unravel. Yeah.
All right. Look, I feel like I should let you go on the snap. But look, I'll be the first one to say, I'm not saying that I don't like having those conversations. It's actually my preferred method. I like the one-on-one, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to teach a room. I want to have authentic conversations with an individual, and I want to hear them too. Because I don't want to just teach and share. I want to be taught and shared to too. Right?
That's real.
It should be a give and take.
So authentic. Yeah.
Right. So it's not a matter of I understand that. Look, sometimes when you live in certain environments, you ain't got many options where to get your get that education from. Right? They to ask those questions. That being said, though, I don't want to do it in a big, broad sense. I want to do it personally, individual by individual. Right. So it is real. And I get they're heard too, because I want them to be heard too.
Right. I can't help but think that if we weren't miseducated to begin with, you wouldn't have that situation to begin with. You know, like I have 11, 12, and 13-year-olds in front of me every day. And I'm thinking, man, like when we talk about the things we talk about nowadays, I'm thinking, where was this when I was growing up?
Yes. Yeah, there's so much. Yes, I agree.
Again, I think America being exposed, going back to that again, for who we are and what we've done in the past several hundred years, but especially since public schools have been established, what have we taught them about the history of this country? Whose version of it?
Well, we know whose version.
I know. And now we're backtracking around.
But here's my thing. I don't want to call it a version, because it's not as if there's not truth in it. There's just things left. There's a huge part of it left. It's an untold story. Like, it's a single story.
Yes.
And
yes,
no story, when it involves multiple individuals in it, should be a single story.
Right.
There's other individuals, there's other things that happen, and they should get to tell the story also.
Right. Right. Representation. Points of view.
Okay. Look, I'm feeling that. You ready for the next word?
Oh, ready.
Okay. Next word is Amazon.
Books.
You had that right away. Look, you weren't playing around. Look, you act like you done listen to the show or something.
Where's my phone? Show you. Let me show you my cart.
Look, just books.
Books. I mean, I get a lot of other things off of Amazon, but
okay. Let me dig a little deeper. Then what's hot right now? What is on the to buy list for books? Who are we looking at, and why are we looking at them?
For myself, the books that I buy for myself are either for my students, so that the majority of the novels that I buy are young adult novels.
Okay.
I rarely read adult fiction.
Okay.
I prefer to read something that I can actually use, and it's a great escape too. I've been in adult book clubs and have enjoyed them, but they're just not. I'd rather be, unless there's something that's nonfiction that comes my way. I don't spend a lot of time reading adult fiction. What did I just order? The Conscious Parent. One of my best friends told me how great this book is. She listens to the podcast, and I've got a conscious teaching book that I've read, and but the conscious, she knows we're kind of in the same path as far as how old our kids are and our own spiritual journeys. And I call her my soul sister, right. And so she lets me know what book she what book she's reading or what I need to read.
Okay.
Michelle Chalfant. Michelle Chalfant is I've learned so much about trauma. You said the T word before, and I've been self-teaching, self-learning about trauma this year.
Yes.
Talk about a traumatized nation, by the way, but another topic.
Okay.
Yeah. But she teaches about how to heal. Like, I'm at a place where all I want to do is heal and help heal.
Right.
And I'm a super energy person. Like, I want to learn everything I can about energy, and the energies that are trapped in us, the energy that we can create on our own. And so those are the type of the things that are coming in hot out of Amazon for me right now.
Okay.
But, a lot of human rights books for my students at school too.
All right. Yep. I like it. All right. You ready for the next one?
Yep.
Education. All right. Look, I felt like, here's the funny thing. And when I picked that word, I was like, it felt like a softball and a fastball. Like, it was like, all right, this could go in a lot of different directions.
Sure could. You said education, and then I just because of what we were talking about, I thought of miseducation, and undoing or redoing so much of what education has been. We are just so much of our education system and what is expected of teachers.
Look, bruh.
I just feel like we need to become more authentic and engaging and real world for these kids. From the way the classrooms are set up to what we're the canned programs that we're supposed to be teaching. It's just the pendulum always swings.
Right.
And I've been in it, I've been in the game long enough to see it swing several times. But best practice is best practice. And education, when I think of the word educated, I think someone who can think critically.
Right. It's not necessarily about memorizing a bunch of dates and times.
We don't need that anymore. We've got our phones.
Facts.
Bruh. Like there's so many things that we need to be educated on. And we need to know how to be resourceful. And we need to know how to follow our strengths and our passions, because that's what we do as adults anyway. Right. So I think education is I think it's really important that we have teachers who continue to think critically about how they're presenting information, what information they're presenting, not teaching their kids necessarily what to think, but how to become thinkers.
Right.
More than anything, because especially in the day and age of fake news and there's just, the world is not the same as it was when you and I were growing up.
This is it. Well, society has the ability. I do think it's the same as in we count on our teachers even more so than we did back, old school term, back in the day.
Is that an old school term?
Yeah, I feel everything, just when you're trying to say back in the day, it just makes it sound old.
Well.
But I feel like we depend on our teachers even more than we used to depend on our teachers. We put more on their plate. Just think about some of the things that's been in the news that we have seriously asked our teachers to do, and yet we fight them. We fight about compensation for that, but they are navigating, helping to educate and grow our most valuable resource for the greatness of our nation, which is our youth, right? But we've been in a situation where we had people be like, we need our teachers to carry weapons. We need our teachers.
You don't want, first of all, I'm sorry to interrupt. You don't want some teachers carrying weapons. Trust me.
Bruh. Look, I'm just going to say, not everybody is meant for carrying a weapon.
Right.
I'm all about
Right.
that, but I don't want my teacher. That's not their job. I want somebody trained in that. I don't want somebody that just who's trained to be a teacher and happens to have a firearm.
Right.
That's not the same. Look, people who are trained to do firearm things, I need them to do firearm things, and I need my teachers to do teacher things.
Right. I have been to, so I love kickboxing. And I literally probably look like I could kill somebody on one of my A days.
Oh, you that person, huh?
But it's such a healthy outlet,
right.
And I loved boxing growing up, and so I have. It's such an amazing outlet. The times that I've been able to take classes and that's not the woman that walks in the door in the morning is not the kickboxer.
Right.
The kickboxer comes out at night in a healthy way to relieve any of that energy that I need to expel.
Right.
I've been to an 8-hour course on how to disarm a gunman. Why am I taking that class? But it was offered to me. It was free. And I went through it. I came home with bloody knuckles from hitting a bag because I thought, if I say no to this opportunity, I'm supposed to be the wolf protecting the sheep. Why would I say no if this is presented to me?
Say that again.
Which part?
No, I'm just saying you are the wolf
protecting the sheep.
That's right.
So
that's the expectation.
Now I know how to take a long gun away from an assailant. Why do I know that as a middle school teacher? That's not the woman that's walking in the door in the morning. Right. I'm there to hug them, not this year, darn it, but I'm there to hug them, to love them, to give them help them raise their confidence and belief in themselves. Not some vigilante like bad mama jamma that's gonna, be able to take out someone who's trying to kill us. Does that even go together? But it's the reality of our world now. It's the reality.
It's a possibility, and it's a little too real.
It's happened all over.
It done happened all over and too many times.
Yeah. It's happened in our city. Not with a gun, but it happened last year at West.
Yeah. Yep. I do remember that. I remember that story. And
thank God Officer Wisink was the man that he was, and the help, came that they needed. But my gosh.
Look, shout out to our law enforcement. Mad love for them for doing the things that are necessary and taking on a very tough job. And shout out to our educators, because I don't want them to be law enforcement. I want them to be educators.
Right.
All right. I took that down the road. That's my fault. I apologize. You ready for the last word?
Sure.
Children.
Exhausting. Oh my God, children. I think of my own kids first, and then I think of my other kids at school. Man, if they don't make us better.
Absolutely.
Did we talk about this?
Look, I think this is one of them conversations. Yeah, kids, the beauty of children, I think you're particular, especially when they're you and they look like you and they got your attitude, right? And you can't do nothing with them because they're smarter than you at a point because the mind is faster than your mind, right? But kids show you who you really are.
Yep. 100%. Sometimes literally.
Literally.
Sometimes visually, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so
I think when that happens, it's so intriguing. And I can watch my daughter have a moment and I can see everything that she's feeling. And I can remember standing in front of my parent or parents feeling the same way she's feeling. And it is so powerful for me to be able to give her the reaction I wish I would have gotten. But not to say she is me, because she's her own person, but I know her well enough to know what she needs at this age. So it is just the most intriguing, psychological, spiritual journey. And you're right. I think they teach us who we really are and who we want to be.
Facts. All right. Next segment. This is the Naughty/Heroes Corner. So this is where you get an opportunity to nominate somebody, whether it is to the Naughty Corner or to the Heroes Corner. Since you're an educator, I'm sure there's been a few that have been put in the Naughty Corner. That thing happens. But where you taking it, Chrissy?
Oh, I'm gonna be really general. Can I go both ways?
Absolutely. It's your show.
I think the naughty, when I think it's such a light term, but I think anybody that isn't trying to add positivity to this world right now is on the naughty list. I think we need to self-reflect and to evolve. And at the end of the day, just be spreading way more positivity.
Yes.
And light than being complacent with either.
No, you're right.
And it's not that hard.
It ain't supposed to be.
I think there's a lot of shame involved. I think some people are afraid to make some changes because they'd have to face the shame of some of the things that some of the ways they lived their life up to this point. And that's just too much.
I ain't gonna lie. I just think some people ain't got no shame.
I agree.
There's just some people, there's just some people sitting out there that ain't no shame. And that's, I don't know how to feel about that.
I think they're just too far gone.
That could
I
be.
think they've just been living that in that mindset for too long. Okay. And I think, and again, it goes back to trauma. I think so much goes back to trauma, but that's on a way deeper rabbit hole.
Okay. Well, you know what? You might have to come back. And we're going to call that episode the rabbit hole episode.
Rabbit hole.
We're going to dig. We're going to go
it.
in some of those. All right. We're going to dig in some of those.
I'm familiar with the rabbit hole.
All right.
All right. My hero's corner.
All right.
I'm going with school nurses.
Oh.
Now let me get
facts.
Come on. What I've witnessed from a variety of our healthcare workers in schools is nothing less than astounding in terms of, well, not unlike a lot of the country, what's been asked of them, right? Of course, they're on overload and there's not enough of them. We know this already. But when they are following protocol and when they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, what's been asked of them, they are just human beings doing their job. To see someone come out of a room off of a phone call shaking because they were just yelled at so badly by a parent who doesn't want to have to take their kid out of school, I can't stop how troubled I feel about that for them.
That's the situation. So the parent, is it because their child is sick? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no, not necessarily. But if there are a lot of different situations going on. We're all back in school,
right?
And so, unfortunately, if we all want to stay back in school, there's some things that we have to be pretty strict about some things,
right?
And
absolutely,
and we all have to be flexible,
right?
And we all have to do our jobs a different way,
right?
And so if you're, well, I have 2 daughters. So if one of my daughters has a symptom, she has to go home, and so does her sister, because of close contact.
I mean, yeah.
And then when they get their negative test results, they can pop back into class.
Okay.
In the meantime, they can go to class on their computer. They can. I know that's what I'm having my students do. I got my classroom in front of me. I've got my Chromebook in front of me with a couple of my kids on it who are sitting at home waiting for their test results, right. and we're just rolling with it.
Right.
But I've just the abuse of nurses, the screaming and the yelling at these nurses when they have to make the phone call home to say, "I'm sorry, you have to come pick up your son or daughter." I get the inconvenience, I get the frustration, I get the exhaustion and the fatigue. But that's another human being doing their job, and there is just, and that's a good person who's
right.
not trying to do any harm.
Right. They didn't make the rules.
They didn't make the rules, and it's been so abusive to them. There have been just too many cases, and this is only a handful of people that I'm talking about, so I can't even imagine.
In the bigger picture. In
the bigger picture. So the fact that they keep showing up every day and smile as much as they can, man, I think they're the unsung heroes, big time.
We got to give that shout out to our nurses in these schools. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
You are not overlooked or ignored.
Right.
All right.
So appreciated.
That you know what, I'm not even gonna lie, I've had a blind spot because I've thought so much about our teachers in this scenario, and the come in, don't come in, teach online, don't teach online, like the switch up and the changes. I never thought about our health care that is inside these schools. I forgot about the school nurse.
Oh, and what they've done. I mean, just even the setup of they've lost their offices. They've they're in the corner, like they literally are in corners of conference rooms, just reset because we need places to space kids out.
Right.
Put them in quarantine until their parents get there, whatever the case is. And the whole workplace is just, but
wait, repeat that. I want the listeners to understand, because of the spacing.
Yeah, they've lost their workspace. They're sitting in the corners of conference rooms or other little cubbies that they can find a way to, and they are stretched thin, like so many people are in so many ways. But in the meantime, they're really getting a beat down from a lot of parents. That is really disheartening.
That makes the soul hurt a little bit.
No kidding.
Right. That gave me pause.
Yeah. Just trying to keep us safe. Just trying to keep us open.
Right. That's
just trying to keep us learning.
Isn't that everybody? Everybody, there's nobody who's trying to be a villain. There's no one trying to do something. We're just all trying to keep us safe and functioning.
Yep. And do what's right.
Do what's right.
Keep us safe.
All right.
Keep us healthy.
That went hard. Okay. So, time for the topic of the week. You ready? All right. So, topic of the week. What it was like to be a teacher during COVID. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've thought about this, and like I don't even have a child in school anymore, but I've got enough colleagues and friends who have school age children, and just everybody. I just feel like there's so many challenging things, but you know who I haven't heard it from yet? I've heard it from parents, because parents have been very vocal about children being home and them having to help educate them and stuff like that. But I've not had the opportunity to truly have a conversation with an educator not in higher ed, someone who is teaching our children, elementary, middle school, high school.
Mm-hmm. And I teach middle school, but I've got 2 elementary age daughters. So I am the teacher and the parent. So have seen it from both those perspectives.
That's true. So you and your children were home. You were teaching your classes. Ooh, that's double time.
Bruh. Right. So on March 13th, my daughters and I arrived home Friday after school, not to return. So we ordered our 3 desks off a marketplace, painted those babies, stuck them in our bedrooms, let class begin.
Wow.
What we wouldn't have done without Chromebook, I just can't even imagine, having that referendum being passed years ago to get a Chromebook in the hands of every student.
Oh my God!
Shout out to Dave Gunlock for that, and the team, yes. Julie Conrad, Kim Brown, like the
foresight.
Oh, the foresight, and boy, wouldn't have been able to be done. Just the little thing. I mean, if this isn't a year to be grateful for the little things, that was a big thing. But the fact that we could all come home and not worry about that. I went and bought a printer. I don't know why. That's all the technology I might need.
Wait, because, that just makes sense to me. I'm going to call it out now. You really don't have a home office if you don't have a printer.
Right. Right.
You might have an office or a home, but if you ain't got no printer, it ain't a home office.
Well, I created the home office in the corner of my bedroom, and we were off. It was there were no boundaries. There were no boundaries between being home or being at work. And I have a 3rd grader and a 4th grader. And the 4th grader was quite independent and kind of knows her timetable, her schedule, when to get on live classes, when not to. And my 3rd grader needed a lot of support at the time. So when I'm supposed to be on class and she's supposed to be on class, it was just a lot of sweating.
Okay.
A lot of sweating.
Right.
And then you hit join for the Google Meet and you're like, hi, everybody. Like, never let them see you sweat.
Right.
No, but going into teaching, it was like the on-demand application of everything I had ever known for technology. Everything that had gotten snippets of, it was on-demand application of putting it to work because I had to reach my students.
Right.
And that is...
we are a live show, so
You're distracted.
I got my dog eating the bone, and we're going to go ahead and chase him out the room. You just go ahead with... Come on, Bosco.
Anyway, so yeah, using that creativity and technology and really critical analysis of what's most important for these kids to get right now. And in the spring, it was a whole different animal because none of us had any clue what this is supposed to look like, what it was supposed to feel like, and we had to. The teaching part was one. How do I do a job that's supposed to be in person, but now you can't be in person?
Right.
Like, this is a people job, and now my people are gone. Do your job. Right. Anyway, do your job anyway.
And no one could tell you how to do it because it didn't have to be done before at that level. Ever. Right.
So it was. It was scary, and I remember, just the amount of connections made between, it's kind of when you find your people, because, reaching out for support, a lot of teachers just kind of collaborating, but also just supporting each other, saying, you got this, you can do this, you've got everything it takes. When a lot of people didn't feel that, were very unsure, very insecure about that, feeling extremely vulnerable, because we always want to do our best. We always want to be at the top of our game. We always want to put 100% in every day.
Right. And
no one's got 500% during a work week, so it was like we were trying to, it was taking up a lot of time. And we had to find ways to keep ourselves healthy and then also be able to check on our students to make sure that they were healthy emotionally and mentally and physically, which you can't do if they don't log in.
Right. Like there's some of that I've overthought this as a person who loves tech.
Welcome.
And some of that stuff, and big shout out to the Oshkosh School District for having the Chromebooks in place. My daughter was in high school when they rolled those out, and fantastic. I mean, I just thought it was brilliant. I knew some just weren't going to have the internet right. Like, it's tech. Things go wrong with tech. I don't care who you are. You could be Bill Gates, and Bill Gates has problems with tech.
Yeah.
Tech goes wrong, and not everybody is tech savvy enough to fix the tech.
Right.
And then you force everybody on tech. So if the child is not tech savvy enough to fix whatever, let's say it's an internet issue, and I'm going to be more... I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna believe in the child more than I'm gonna believe in some of the parents. If the child can't fix it, the parent can't fix it, then that child's going without.
Yep.
That's different.
Very different. and when we're in school, if the child is at home and can't figure it out, and if the parent can't figure it out, they come back the next day and we take care of it. No worries.
Okay.
But when we're kicked out of school,
right,
and we can't even go to your driveway like we want to. Right. Hey, you sit over there else. I said, there's so many times, like, can I just open my garage? Can I just open my garage and hold class there? Like, we'll socially distance. Right. I just wanted those kids in front of me because the dynamics are so different. The impact and the engagement are so different. And it's been amazing. And I taught at UW in the summer for a pre-college program for high school kids. Right. And ironically, I had to teach usually I teach the SMARTS program, which is the 7th graders, right? We do math and reading. But they asked me to teach student engagement for future teachers. Bruh. And then they said, oh, we're not going to do that in person this year. And I was like, okay, this is an incredible challenge for me. How do I teach how to engage students
virtually? That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And, but luckily, we all entered the class with, we're just going to see how this goes. We're going to do our best, and it's going to have to be, good enough. And incredibly, we were still able to bond. Right. We were still able to, those kids who wanted to be engaged, we clicked, and not in like a chemistry way, and in like a, we clicked in terms of, it's never been so apparent that those students that want that engagement, they definitely received it, but those were the easiest kids.
Right.
But when you're in person, the teacher can engage just their energy, just a look. Kids can't tell who you're looking at when you're looking at one hole in the computer. Right. A tap on the shoulder, a compliment walking down the hallway. Those little things that connect us with students every day. Hey, I noticed this about you. Or hey, I like your shoes. Any of those tiny little things gone. And it's like, what?
I can't stress how important I think physical cues are. right? And to not have physical cues to communicate, particularly with our youth. That's tough.
We learned how important it is. We learned how important it is this year. Man, I can't even put into words just that physical presence. A wink. Everything that you would normally do looking one-on-one on somebody, you can't do it anymore because everybody thinks you're looking at them.
Right. And oh my God, yes. Because if you wink, you're winking at every cube on the screen.
Yeah, I'm winking at the class.
Right.
Yeah. I can't turn and say, hey, could you give me access to that Google Doc? I have to send an email or a chat. No, that being said, we did a lot of one-on-one connecting through our Google Meets, like our Zooms.
Okay.
Which was awesome. And those that needed just a mental health check, like they would say, a lot of checking in with the class. How are you doing? Privately, using Google Forms, doing little surveys. How are you feeling about this? How are you feeling about that? Would you like one-on-one contact? Would you like to do a weekly meeting with me? That was great for so many kids.
Right.
To get what they needed during this time. And sometimes it wasn't academic at all.
Right.
But then you had the kids who you couldn't even get in contact with, who didn't respond to the emails, who you can only, when there's nothing else you can do, there's nothing else you can do.
Right.
You can call home and they can not return the phone call. You can email and they can ignore the email. You can chat and they can ignore that. But it was painful at times because we care about these kids so much.
Right.
And our reach was limited, obviously.
That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay, yeah, that was energy.
Take a breath.
We need to take a breath. We we take a breath.
Yep.
I guess before we start wrapping this segment up, is there anything else you want to say about that?
Yeah. All that being said, that's from the teacher perspective. There's the other part that had just the appreciation from the parents who did reach out was received 1,000 times stronger than they probably ever suspected. So the parents that did respond to emails, the parents that did even reach out on their own, they have no idea how meaningful that was this year.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Anytime a parent would say just the words "thank you," it was like mind blown, right? Like you don't expect that going. I mean, everybody is expected to do their job, and you do your job because that's your passion. You love it. But this year, like the parents that reached out and just said thank you for all that you're doing this year, which was a very common phrase. It just meant so much.
I bet it hit different because some of them parents had to be educators in their cribs. So that thank you hit different. That thank you had a little more oomph behind it. Yeah. They was like, thank you, because I didn't understand what all went into this.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Especially
in elementary, though, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think especially with elementary, because those babies,
you can't beat them babies. Them babies are them ninjas. They got more energy than you. They faster than you. Yep. Look, depending on what they done read, they might be smarter than you.
right. Yep.
Them babies is tough.
Yeah. Yep. And their attention span is short. So those transitions are like, they keep them moving.
Wait, there's an attention span?
Right, it's about as many seconds as their age.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think some parents might have got some awakenings. But I do think that is good. In a funny way, I think this was a blessing.
I agree.
I think it was a blessing because life was forced to slow down and we all were forced to take pause. And life was so fast.
Wasn't it? And
Yeah.
overscheduled.
Yeah, overscheduled, fast, alerts on your phone, be here, do this, think about that. But there was pause and there was time to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was time to enjoy each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so regardless of the challenge that this brought societally, I think there was value in this time period.
Oh, I think without a doubt. Silver linings was a common phrase with my tribe anyway. See, there's a silver lining right there, we would say.
Right.
And I think you're right. Along with the pause that you mentioned, what are you using that pause for? And I
Right.
think a lot of people did a lot of self-reflecting during that time. I think self-care is just kind of a popular coin term, but self-healing, self-care,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of learning occurred.
Yes, most definitely.
And I think perspective was brought. What's most important in so many ways, personally, professionally. What's most important? Let's let those things stick and let's just cut the fat.
Bruh.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is too good. Okay. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
All right. That's what, yeah. When you're on the Kosh, that's what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be. All right. So I think unless you got any final words on this topic, are you good?
I'm good.
You
I'm
good? All right. All right. So right now we're gonna move on to we'll get ready to do shout outs, but first of all, for all my Kosh listeners out there, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for everyone who's contacted me, giving me great ideas on how to move forward and guests. I will take those all day. Please email me at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. Or you can also send messages on our Facebook page. We do have a The Kosh Facebook page, so feel free to send messages through that. We are going to move on to, we're wrapping it up. We're getting to the end. So I know, right? Because I'm not going to lie, the energy in this was fire. This went hard.
I'm numb. I'm smiling.
Like, there's some
I can process all day with you.
there's some things that needed to be said. I'm glad that they were said out loud to give them life.
That's powerful.
You know,
That's powerful.
right? Because in your head, they might not go nowhere.
That's right. Around and around.
So it is time for the shout outs. Is there, you got any shout outs out there?
Man, I got to shout out my tribe. My
Uh-oh.
tribe, my friends, and, just my friends that have, I've this year, like I said, kind of found your people,
Right.
and such a year of reflection, such a year of growth and development. And man, if I didn't find some of the, or I should say connect with, I had already found them, but the connection just grew so strongly this year. So, some of my girls, and they know who they are, but three in particular, we have really started to process life together, and it's been so much fun, and it's just been an incredible experience. A lot of vulnerability this year. We know that.
Right.
A lot of vulnerability, and we see that as our superpower now, instead of something to be afraid of.
Right.
So, man, I couldn't have grown so much in this year without them.
I think vulnerability and authenticity, they ride in the same car,
You can't have one without the other.
right?
I think so.
Hmm.
I'm pretty convinced of that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So you got Tribe. Anybody else you want to shout out? Anything you've done recently somewhere? Business, promotion? I don't know. It could be anything.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Okay.
I haven't gone anywhere.
No? Not even a little bit?
Where have I gone?
Okay, that's fair.
No, I literally, we literally have not been in a restaurant since last March.
Oh.
We haven't been in my parents' house. We literally have been following the rules.
Okay.
So, man, you know what? I wanted to give a shout out to all the festival food workers that say hi to me. Okay, this is real talk. I was thinking of this the other day. I said to somebody I was working with the other day, I said, you know what I just realized? Nobody can see people's smiles in the grocery store. You can't smile at anybody. You can see with the eyes, but you don't know what anybody's smile looks like.
Right.
And then I was like, one thought leads to another always. And I thought, you know what? That's why I love going to festival, because people still say hi. And I mean, I know that's their policy.
Right.
So it's nothing personal. Right.
But they're good at it.
They're getting paid to say hi to me. And I don't even mind.
Yeah. But they're good at it.
They're so good at it. It comes across as genuine.
Yeah, festival is warm.
I have a ton of ex-students that work there, so they fit in perfectly because they're awesome. Right. That was the most random thought I've had all day.
Now I like it. Shout out to Festival Food, and if Festival Food, you out there listening, if you want to sponsor the Kosh, look, we open to it. We're about that life. Holla at me.
You guys would be a great match.
Hey, all right. I want to do a quick shout out to there's some mental health stuff. I work with veterans, and there's some things that have happened, and I've got a team of individuals who have helped take care of me during a time when things got challenging and a little dark. And so everybody out there, to the UW Oshkosh family, I love y'all. Y'all look out tight. Thank you for contacting, checking up. To my vets out there, if you're feeling some kind of way, there's people out there that have open doors and care. Holla at us. We will get you right where you need to be. And I can't tell you how personal that is. So shout out to the team at UWO, particularly the counseling center, UMC. Y'all know who you are, doing it big. And to all my vets out there, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Can't stress that enough.
Wow. That's powerful.
Hey, this isolation been hard on people.
Yeah.
And
Very.
If people already have, if some things are already challenging,
yes,
then isolation just cubes it.
Yes.
Yep. So, all right. Parting words of wisdom. What you got? I'm
just going to give you the same wisdom I give, or words of wisdom that I say to my daughters.
Uh-oh.
Number one, never be shy to be kind. Never be too shy to be kind. Why don't we shy away? Walking down the street, I'm not supposed to say hi to strangers.
Bruh.
Smile at them. Say hi. You see somebody drop something, pick it up for them. Why wouldn't you?
Right?
Because it would be weird.
It's
to
too
be kind.
easy.
It's too easy. You would do it for somebody you knew, but they need it.
Right.
So help them. There's so many opportunities to do tiny little things. I had an experience. This is a random thought, but I had an experience. I was at a place of business buying some things, and literally the mimosas came up. Okay, so this is twice in 2 weeks, which is weird. By the way, I haven't had one in a couple months.
Wait, shout out to mimosas.
I think I'm gonna have to go home and have a mimosa after my vaccine. So she said, "Oh yeah, I've never had one of those," and I was like, "What?" She's my age or my senior.
Okay.
And that's just wrong.
I'm gonna have to agree with that.
So the next day, I knew because of our conversation, I knew she worked the next day. So I brought her in some champagne and some orange juice, and she could not believe it. I mean, that was. I know this isn't like this is going out of my way. Obviously, this is not like just picking something up for somebody off the floor.
Right.
But I could not believe her reaction. And I was dealing with I'm making another purchase, and I was, someone else was checking me out, but she was standing right next to her. This woman was literally hugging these bottles of orange juice, 2 bottles of, champagne and orange juice, hugging it, smiling. And then she just kept, I couldn't believe it. I can't believe it. She kept saying, and then she said, oh, there is still good in the world. And I went, oh my God, that's so sad. That she really, like, over a $5 bottle of champagne or $10, whatever it was, for her to say, oh, there's still good people in the world. I thought, whoa.
Yeah.
That was powerful over some orange juice.
But it's, you know what it is though? It's not the item.
Right.
It's the time and effort.
Absolutely.
And, skip the item. The item is thoughtful.
Right.
But to go get the item and then to return with the items and then to give them and to remember the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
That is invaluable.
And it's not hard to do.
It ain't hard. Being nice ain't hard. Being nice ain't hard. Being caring ain't hard. Being a good person
can be hard.
But some days,
never be shy to be kind.
Right, never be shy to be kind. I'm with you on there.
Right.
Right.
But I think that goes along with my other little nugget that I always tell my girls is never let your fear stop you from growing. So maybe that's not something you've ever done before, but would it make you better?
Right.
Would it help you grow?
Yeah.
I'm afraid. What would they say? What would they say if I went over there and did that for that person? Got that can of soup off the top shelf for this person in the, in the grocery aisle who can't reach it. Like just these little things that in the grocery store is the easiest place to do it, I think. But there's so many opportunities, and I think if we just did those little things.
You don't even know. Sometimes you can change the trajectory of something bigger than you ever can experience doing something so small.
That's exactly right. You never know the impact you have.
Right.
You never know.
I'm loving that. Mm-hmm. I've got a special person out there who literally put something on Facebook about care for each other and being those people every day. So shout out to Pam Stuber. You my girl, you know who, and appreciate you. She sends up literally a positive message every day.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do read it every day.
See?
No.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. How you feeling about the whole thing?
Feeling good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
it's good to chop it up with you again.
I appreciate that too. Well, thank you once again for tuning in to the Kosh. We'll see you next week. The Kosh.